Borough fans, welcome back to episode number 8 on the Stevenage Football Club podcast. Now, if you are watching us on YouTube for the 5th time, I think it is. I think this is our 5th viewing on YouTube. Then a massive hello to all of you that are viewing on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, a massive hello to all of you on Spotify as well. Again, welcome back, episode number 8. And as you can see in the title, bravo on the Stevenage Football Club podcast. Now, for the first time in this massive season of episodes, guys, Mr. Andy Blair is on holiday. I do believe And has gone to Madrid. He has been sending me a few pictures, actually, on WhatsApp of he's gone to Real Madrid Stadium, the Bernabeu. So I know that And is in Madrid currently, so And can't be on the podcast today. So it is just going to be myself on the podcast taking us through a crazy week, right? My God, we had the kind of the reaction and the ecstasy and the emotion of winning the last, I say last minute winner at Port Vale. It was 2 late goals, wasn't it, from Jamie Reid that got us that incredible 2 win. Again, as you guys can imagine, I was in tears when the winner went in. But we've had that, and we've had the joys of that night last Tuesday up in Port Vale, and then we travelled and played in a top of the table clash. At Huddersfield on Saturday. What a game this was. We did record our first defeat of the 2025-26 League One season, our 3rd consecutive season in League One, and Alex Ravel's 2nd season. Guys, I hope you've all had a lovely week. When did we last record? It was last Sunday, wasn't it? After the big home win against Northampton. The gas man cropped up, didn't he, on his debut to seal us 3 points to put us top of League One. But again, I hope you all had a brilliant week. I've had a great week, pretty similar. Again, I think the emotion from Tuesday night kind of set up the rest of my week. And then as I got to Thursday and Friday, I was like a little kid about the match on Saturday away at Huddersfield, because, isn't it funny, like when you come into the season, and especially this one, and we've, labelled this our, most important season. We've created a top half team, and that's, what we're trying to achieve this season. But when you see the team top, and you see them top of the league and involved in top of the table clashes, it's absolutely wonderful. And it was a great day Saturday, standing there in the away end, and watching us playing this top of the table game early on against, a team that are tipped to, be right up there and competing for promotion. And in a lot of people's eyes, a team that are, competing to win the league, a lot of people are saying. And just to see us in that beautiful kit, I was so proud on Saturday, and I was so proud of them. But no, it's been a good week. It's great to be back. It's great to speak to all of you. I think there's only one place to start, really, isn't there? Last Tuesday. Now, I know that me and And did a Borough talk, didn't we, on Twitter on Thursday, where we spoke about that incredible night Tuesday. But we're going to go through it properly and dissect it and go through the stats and talk about the match and talk about the incredible moment at the end with Jamie Reid. Again, I'm so happy, guys. And by the way, can I just say, we're 3rd in the league. Like, I am honestly the happiest I've ever been supporting this team. I'm so happy at the minute for how we're doing. But we have got to cast our minds back to Port Vale last Tuesday. It was our 4th League One match of the season. By the way, isn't that mental how quick, we're halfway to 10 already in this season? I remember the build-up felt like forever. And then all of a sudden we're 5 matches in. But it was our 4th League One match of the season away at Port Vale. I think we went into the game last Tuesday, didn't we? And well, for all of us, I think we seen it as a winnable game. I think that was the beauty about our start. We beat Blackpool, in the big opening day game. We won that 3-2. And from then, Rotherham, Northampton, Port Vale were looked upon as winnable matches on paper, right? So I think for us, we won the opening 3. We said that we'd probably take a point at Port Vale, but I think deep down we really believe, especially the squad that we've built and created, that we would hopefully go to Port Vale and win. And that we did, guys. Come on, I'm so happy. We won 2-1 at Port Vale. Jamie Reid scoring the 2 goals to win us the match at Port Vale. We were 1-0 down in the game, which seems to be a theme of our away matches. Every away match we've played so far, we've gone behind, haven't we? But in the opening 2, we've gone behind and come back to win. Tolaj, or however you pronounce his name, scored the first goal. Jamie Reid levelled in the 88th minute. And I'm going to put my hand up for this. I called it. I said we had a long throw. And I went, Goody throws it in, flicks it on. Reedy will be at the back post to smash it in. And Reedy was there to fire it in the top corner to put us 1-1. And he didn't stop there in big goal Reedy fashion. 3 minutes later, a ball in by Charlie Good, which was somewhat deflected. Reedy brought it down, touch a yard of space, bang, fired it across to win us the match at Port Vale. I was in tears when he scored the winner. Honestly, I went absolutely ballistic, and the limbs were great in the corner. But I'm going to quickly go through the lineup and the stats before we speak about the match, the big 2-1 win at Port Vale. It was a similar lineup for us against Port Vale. There was only one change in the starting 11, which was Chem Campbell for Phoenix Patterson from the 2-0 home win in our 3rd game against Northampton. So Revs lined us up with Philip Marshall in goal, Luther Wilding, Charlie Good, Cole Pidgeon and Dan Butler at the back. Midfield, Jordan Houghton and Harvey White. The forward 3 positions, Jordan Roberts, Dan Kemp and Phoenix Patterson started in his first start for the team this season, with big goal Jamie Reid leading the line as top goal scorer in League One. On the bench, we had Tashby Hammond, Chem Campbell, Lewis Freestone, Jasper Patterson, Dan Phillips, Dan Sweeney, and the gas man. The stats for the big 2-1 win. We both had 50% possession of the ball on the 2-1 win at Port Vale. We had 11 shots there, 15. We had 3 on target to Port Vale, 6. Not many shots on target in the match, obviously 3 for us and 2 of them went in. Touches inside the opposition box. We had 14 to Port Vale's 21. Philip Marshall made his first save of the season. Isn't that mental, by the way? The 4th match, our goalkeeper actually makes his first save. He made 5 overall in the match compared to Port Vale's 1. There were 24 fouls committed overall in the match. We contributed to 13 of those fouls, 6 corners where we had 2. Attempts outside the box, 5 compared to Port Vale's 5. We hit the woodwork once with Jamie Reid's shot. And the passing statistics for the big 2-1 win. We made 356 passes to Port Vale's 351. So we outpassed Port Vale. Forward passes, we had 153 from our 356. 69 were long balls. And successful passes in the final third, we made 44. Even, I'll throw in the crosses, we had 11 crosses to Port Vale's 25. Wow, just what a night. Do you know what? It was a result that brings the fans together and captivates team seasons right at the start of the season. It was a magnificent ending. I mean, just, when Reedy scored the equaliser, it was like, that'll do. We've got a point from the game. At one point it looked like it was going to be our first defeat, and I really didn't want to. I didn't want that to be our first loss of this season. And when Reedy scored the equaliser, great finish on the half volley, just the limbs. And I think after that goal, we were pretty content with the point. And then we went and won the match. I mean, the character of this team was absolutely fantastic. And to win it was brilliant. But the performance as a whole, it was a really difficult match, wasn't it, against Port Vale? I think, kind of casting my mind back to Tuesday, we just seemed a yard off the pace, didn't we? It almost seemed like Port Vale were just a yard quicker than us last Tuesday. I felt that for a large kind of part of the game, especially in the first half, that we kind of were a little bit too slow on the ball. We didn't move the ball with as much pace. And I think Port Vale, to their credit, they moved the ball a lot faster than we did. And they created a few moments in that first half. Look, we still had moments ourselves. Jamie Reid hit the post. And there were some really good passages of play from us as well. But I think it was really the speed of the match. We weren't at our usual, or we weren't at the pace that we'd seen in the opening 3 matches. I think that's fair to say. Philip Marshall, could he come out and commit to the ball for the first goal? I think he should. He did that against Blackpool, didn't he, Marshall? We didn't commit and Nennis went and scored. But I think he didn't want to give away a penalty and possibly get sent off in the process. So, yeah, obviously they went 1-0 up. And to be honest with you, we had chances in this match, really, right? You take away the 2 goals with Jamie Reid, Charlie Good had a header that he probably should score in the second half. Ghassan Ahadme come on, had a really, had a good chance with a header with Jamie Reid hitting the post. So before the kind of ending of the match, we had chances in the game. But yeah, I think overall, in terms of the performance, it probably wasn't our finest of the season. But great sides find a way to win, don't they? And, how many times have you seen the real top sides? They'll go and score and they'll get back in the game, but then they'll go and win the game. The good sides are ones that, score and nick a point. The top teams are the ones that score and then have the ability to go on and win the game. Now, there was one kind of overriding factor in this match, and actually it links to our top of the table clash at Huddersfield, which I'm really proud of. We're going to come on to later. And that was the noticeable change in the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the match. Now, it was a game where, again, I felt that we were a yard slow. I felt that Phoenix Patterson, as great as he was, I think defensively, might have just struggled in that wide area. Again, I thought Dan Butler was absolutely fantastic, by the way, on that left side. But we just were a little bit slow with the ball, and Port Vale were a lot quicker than we were. But Alex Revell changed the formation, didn't he? He went 3-5-2. I've got the subs that he actually made in the match because it was noticeable in the last 20 minutes. I've got them here. Dan Phillips came on for Jordan Houghton. Dan Sweeney come on for Phoenix Patterson. Ghassan Ahadme come on for Jordan Roberts. They all come on in the 71st minute. So that 20 minutes at the end, where Revs changed it, there was a noticeable difference. We went 3-5-2. We went 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, 2 in, 2 up top, with Jamie Reid and Ghassan Ahadme. And you saw the performance improve. You saw us move the ball quicker. We were more dominant. We that 20-minute period, we really did push Port Vale back. And I say that, at one point we were looking like we were going to lose the match, but you felt that we'd have a couple of moments in that last 20-minute period, and we did that. But that was a really interesting thing for me, because we know our formation. We have this 4-2-3-1. And it's very successful, in my opinion. You've seen it from, the opening 3 matches of the season, winning all those games. But when we've been going into the 3-5-2 with 20 minutes to go in games, we're dominating. And it happened at Huddersfield. Again, I'll speak about that later. But it happened Tuesday. He changed it to the 3-5-2 and we dominated that 20-minute period. And then inevitably, that decision by Alex Revell won us the match because it completely changed the game. Before that period, we'd had some chances with Goody, etc. But again, it probably wasn't our finest performance. The character of this team, and this is why it's my favourite team. I love them, guys. We're third. I'm so happy. But this is why I love this team, because they showed how good they were that night. We've got to speak about Jamie Reid. Look, we spoke about Reedy last week on the podcast, and we spoke, about how, he's got back to the Jamie Reid that we saw a couple of years ago. And he's done that with 2 things. He's got himself fully fit. He's had a full pre-season. But it's not just that. The squad that we've got in my opinion, of, and you guys can let us know this in the comments on Twitter, I think this is the best ever team we've ever had. I think when you look at the quality and you look at the levels of the players, you look at the depth, you factor into the point of that we've doubled up in all these different positions. I think this is the best squad we've had, which in turn means Jamie Reid is going to get so much more service. The service that Jamie Reid's going to get this season is top quality. But what a bloke. Honestly, what a bloke. Just two brilliant goals. I've watched them back. I think I've watched the highlights back about, what was it? Well near 100 times, guys. At work Wednesday morning, I was knackered because we got back late, and I've watched the goals back so many times. Two brilliant strikes. The first one is an absolute bullet, and when it fell to him, you knew he'd scored. He just went bang, top corner. Scenes that followed were great. And the winner was a brilliant goal. The way that Reid brings it down, he finds that yard of space. As we've seen Jamie Reid do so many times. They were two traditional Jamie Reid goals. And the way that he fires it across goal and it goes into the bottom corner was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. That for me will be one of my favourite moments of the last couple of years, watching this team play in League One. It was just to win it, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's not even the fact of, getting the point. The point would have been good enough. It was the fact that we won it and we turned it around and we were able to have the ability to win the match. And that's what the top sides do. But Jamie Reid on absolute fire. That takes Reid to 5 goals now. The standout goal scorer in the league. He's on absolute fire. Like one of my statements this season, I remember saying it to the guys in the WhatsApp chat. 2 of my statements were, we'll finish in the top half of the table, wherever that is, and Jamie Reid will get 20 goals because he's just surrounded by top League One players for this season, and he's had a full pre-season. So, unbelievable. It was a fantastic night, a fabulous night. And it was so amazing to see them, 4 wins out of 4 and 12 points. And the fist bumps with Revs at the end was just brilliant. He's now jumping into them, guys. I don't know if you've noticed that. He started to jump into the fist bumps. But a fantastic night, a fantastic win. And that trip home was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. It was great. It kept us top with 12 points. And then we moved on to the top of the table clash at Huddersfield, which happened on Saturday. And I've been looking forward to talking about this match as well, because I'm really passionate about how we played in this game. And we showed how good of a team we have this season. We showed it in this game. So let's get on to it. Obviously, I know, again, I would normally have Andy here to go through the Port Vale game, but to be fair, Andy didn't go anyway. But where we'd normally have a bit of back and forth about the players. But again, I was just so happy with the 2-1 win. We'll move on to the top of the table clash. It was unbelievable going in, wasn't it? I think the thing for me, guys, about a top of the table clash for us early on in the season is you go to these games like we did Saturday, and you go and you're top of the league, and the other team's looking at you as you're top of the league, and they're thinking it's a big game for them because they're playing first place. And what was mental, we're turning up, this massive stadium on Saturday, and we're first, we're top of the league, and they're playing top of the league. And that was a surreal moment for me and for our fans. It was amazing. Now, the game on Saturday, it was our first defeat of this season in League One. We did lose to Huddersfield Town 1-0 at the Acu Stadium. Alfie May scored the goal on the 66th minute, which confirmed our first defeat of this season. The lineup for Saturday, again, similar to the massive 2-1 win against Port Vale on Tuesday night. But again, one change. Philip Marshall, Luther Wilding, Good, Pidge, Dan Butler, Jordan Atten, Harvey White, Jordan Roberts, Dan Kemp and Chem Campbell came back into the starting 11 instead of Phoenix Patterson. Big Goal Reedy led the line away at Huddersfield. The bench, Tashby Hammond, Lewis Freestone, Phoenix Patterson, Jasper Patterson, Dan Phillips, Dan Sweeney, and Ghassan Ahadme. The statistics for this game, we had 38% possession to Huddersfield 62. We had 11 shots in the match to Huddersfield's 12. 4 of our shots were on target and 6 was on target for them. So as you can see already, just based on the stats, it's quite even in statistics. 1 shot in it, 2 shots in it on the shots and target ratio. Touches in the opposition box, we had 20 compared to Huddersfield 32. Goalkeeping saves, 4 apiece. Philip Marshall again made another few saves. Well done, Philip. If he could just speed his kicking up, though, that would be great. We will discuss that. But total passes, we had 333 to Huddersfield's 538. Backward passes that we made were 54 compared to Huddersfield's 91. Forward passes, we made 139 to Huddersfield's 206. We had 70 long balls to their 76. Successful final third passes, we made 62 to their 108. We had more crosses, though, 19 to their 17 in the match. It was a special day, wasn't it? I think, look, we're obviously, first of all, we're gutted to lose our first match. Look, it was inevitable that we were going to lose a game eventually. I think what I will say, if there's a way that you want to lose your first match, it's that, right? And we haven't just played anyone. We have played Huddersfield Town, who are tipped to compete to win the league and get promoted, and it's away, right? Now, I've been really looking forward to talking about this because I was so proud on Saturday. Now, before the kickoff of this big season, and we've called it the most important season because we're becoming a top half team and we've created that, we have said in the preparation period that we have created a top half team, right? And we've been saying that for the whole build-up. Heck, we've even said it once we kicked the season off when we beat Blackpool in the opener 3-2. It's what we've been saying, right? But I don't think we've confirmed that in the opening 4 matches, right? But that performance on Saturday at Huddersfield, we confirmed how great our team is, right? Again, obviously we're gutted to lose the game 1-0. Of course we are. The way that we played in the final 30 minutes was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. We dominated the last 25 to 30 minutes. We dominated the match. And to have the ability to go away from home to a place like Huddersfield, who, again, are tipped to get promoted and compete to win the league, and dominate a third of the match shows how great our team is. Because it's very rare that you'll get many teams go and dominate a period of a game, a third of a match, a half of a match there. Because Huddersfield are that good that, if you look at their team, Alfie May, Joe Taylor, Lars Sorensen, they've got Herbie Kane, they've got Lyndon Gooch, they've got, Ruskin, they've got some top level / championship level players there. So for us to go and dominate those 30 minutes at the end, just those 30 minutes showed me how good our team is. The match itself, I thought we defended brilliantly in the first half. I was down the front with the blue stripes. Again, just so proud of us being up the top. But I was down the front just cheering for the boys. They were doing so well. The defence in the first half was brilliant. We defended absolutely everything. Bodies in front of the ball, or behind the ball, I should say. The whole back line were brilliant. I thought Luther Wilding had a terrific match at right back. He's up against a really, really good player there. And in that first half, he was brilliant. He stopped every cross. He stood his man up really well. He didn't let his man get past him. He was so good. Equally on the other side, Dan Butler. Lars Sorensen's a top player. Dan Butler did really well in that position. Defensively, really well. And again, we have moments in the first half where we were able to play a bit and have a few passages of play. I remember Chem Campbell having a chance in the box where he probably could have done better actually and got a harder shot off. I think it was more like a kind of looping chip into the keeper's hands. Jordan Roberts had a shot. We had a couple of good moments. But for me, the match was all about just getting through the first half and being 0-0. And we did that. And I was, look, Huddersfield had more of the ball. They're going to. Huddersfield are going to have more of the ball at their place in the majority of games they play. For me, it was about getting through that first 45 minutes 0-0. And I think the game plan for us was get the 70 minutes, make the changes like we've done in the opening 4 matches where we've gone to 3-5-2 and try and see if we can nick and win the game. And we just had to get to that point 0-0. And if we got there 0-0, I really fancied us to maybe nick it and win it, right? But we just conceded before that period. And it was a really lucky goal for Huddersfield. You know, it was good set-up play, but the way that and the ball fell to Alfie May. And look, when you're a player of Alfie May's level, things just fall to you. Luckily, if you're a top player, sometimes you just create your own luck. And he was just standing in exactly the right spot where the ball dropped. But again, the defending for that I thought was great. You got Goody kind of throwing everything at it. You got Harvey White blocking it on the line. And it goes in. It's a really lucky goal. But from that goal, we just completely dominated. Again, I really like the way that Alex Ravel went to the 3-5-2. He'd done that again. And again, like I mentioned about the Port Vale win, the big 2-1 win, we went 3-5-2 and we then dominated. Every match might be, the only one I'm not sure about is Blackpool, but I remember him going to 3-5-2 at Blackpool. It was just later on in the game. But pretty much every match, we've gone to 3-5-2 to either see out a match or to get back in the game and dominate. Every single one of the 5 matches, we've gone to 3-5-2 and we've dominated at the end of a game, right? Like look at Northampton, 3-5-2, the gas comes on, we score, we dominate, etc. And we did it again, and we were just brilliant, just absolutely magnificent in that 25 to 30 minute period at the end of the game. Really, and I felt within the last 10 minutes that Huddersfield were hanging on a bit. I really did. I mean, how many times did Huddersfield clear the ball? We came back with another passage of play. It got cleared. We came back again with another passage of play. That was constant for 10 minutes. There was just the odd time where they broke away on the counter. But for a lot of that last 10-minute period, we penned them in their own box, passages of play, trying to find an equaliser. To do that, honestly, it makes me so happy because it just confirms all the things that we said about this team in being a top half team. Honestly, that 25 to 30 minute period, we were absolutely brilliant. I was so proud of the players. They tried and tried. We had moments, didn't we? Kempy had a shot right at the end. The Gas, by the way, actually, yeah, Gas and come on. Look really good with Jamie Reid in the 2. I actually quite like them as a pair. It gives Reedy a little bit of more support. I actually think you saw in the game that Reedy struggled, didn't he, in trying to hold the ball and bring others into play because he was kind of left there on his own, and Huddersfield were very good at isolating Reedy. And I'll tell you one thing that Huddersfield were good at as well. We press high, and there was times where Huddersfield got out of our press really well. They kept the ball and they moved it into the midfield and then they were away. And I felt for Reedy, but I think when the Gas come on with him, they looked really good together. You had Gas winning his flick-ons and his headers, and Reedy was able to do the running in behind. It was really good. Again, Kempy had a chance. We had a couple of balls drop in the box. There was a call for handball. No one's really spoken about that on a lot of their reaction pods and platforms. Ball hit a guy on the arm. I was right in front of it. I mean, Darren Drysdale was he was useless Saturday. He was just useless. I think the only thing he was probably right on, though, was Philip Marshall's kicks. Can someone please tell Phil it is 8 seconds, not 10? He did it once in the first half, and the ref gave a corner. It was like, just kick the ball. He was trying to throw it out, to be fair to Philip, but just kick it. Just kick the ball. But Darren Drysdale was he was such a homer of a ref. It's really annoying. You know, that was a really, really big game Saturday. It was a top of the table clash. And we were in that game, and you would have just liked the referee just to referee the game. You know, don't referee the game based on the fact that the home crowd's got 16,000 in. Just referee the match. There were many a times where, you know, he gave something against us that was really soft, and then he didn't give it to them. Like, little example, I know that when Philip Marshall got blown up on the kicks, I was given a corner against, because that's the rule now. If it's more than 8 seconds, it's an automatic corner to the other team. Owen Goodman did this. Now, their goalkeeper, Owen Goodman, he did this, and a lot of people went, no, he did it within 8 seconds. He didn't. I started counting from as soon as he landed on the ball. It's from the moment when the ball makes contact with your hands. And I counted, I went 1, 2, 3. I counted 12 seconds on his kick. And when I looked at Drysdale, I was counting up to 10, 11, and he was on 6 and 7. I'm thinking, no, he's done. He's been holding it for 10 seconds, then kicked the ball. No, didn't blow up for it at all. So I think that was it for me. It was just the consistency between the decisions. I just thought Drysdale was just a big homer of a ref Saturday. I mean, look, you go away to Huddersfield, you're not going to get a fair crack with the referees. But I thought he was really poor and didn't referee the game properly. But honestly, I come out the ground on Saturday and we'd lost the match, but it didn't feel like we'd lost, right? Because we played so well in that 30-minute period at the end. You know, normally when you lose a game, you come out and you're like, oh, we've lost that. It didn't feel like that. I kind of came out happy and proud because I thought we were brilliant in that 30-minute period. I thought we played so well. And again, to play like that at a place like Huddersfield, you have to be a top team. You have to be. You know, I know Doncaster lost their narrowly as well. Look at Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient, when they got thrashed 3-0, could have been 4 or 5, people said. You know, like to have a 30-minute block in a game where you dominate and really they're hanging on at the end with 5 minutes to go. You have to be a top team to do that, because Huddersfield side are a borderline championship side, right? You have to be a top side to do that. And we did that. And that's what made me really proud. I thought all the players were brilliant. I thought they worked so hard. I also thought the players that came on, I thought Dan Sweeney was great when he came on. He was able to help push us into their half. And if you had a look at Dan Sweeney, a lot of the time, his positions, he was really high up the pitch. I thought Dan Phillips was great, come on, was aggressive, won the ball back. Again, the gas come on, and I thought was really good again. It honestly, I was so proud of how we did and how we played. I really did think it was a fantastic effort from this team. And again, it showed how good we are as a team. And I was just so proud of it. 3rd place, we go to win the division now, which look, I'm still over the moon about. I'm still so happy that we're 3rd. I mean, someone would have said to you, right, guys, after 5 matches that would be 3rd place with 12 points, we would have been like, what? I'd have been happy with like 9 points or something like that. But 3rd place, look, we hardly go anywhere. We get that, first loss out of the way. And again, it wasn't like we were coming out the ground after and we were like, oh, we've had a bad one there today. We've been beaten. I didn't feel that. We played so well in the game and we dominated that 30 minutes at the end that, again, I come out and I didn't feel like we lost the match at all. And look, our team's going to learn a lot from that Saturday. They were able to show that they, can compete at that level, and some will belong there. But they're going to learn a lot from it. And I'm really excited to see how we go forward now, because I think we're only going to get better. One thing I do like before we have a look at the league table, when you have a look at our 5 matches, right, and Port Vale, to be fair, I think was the first game that we hadn't dominated for larger, like you know what I mean, because we were a bit yard off the pace against Port Vale. But what I really like is we've been playing a really top level in all of the early matches. And it's almost like you set the bar of performance, right? That's the level. Anything short of that is unacceptable. And what I really like is we've set this level of playing to that standard. That's the bar. And let me tell you, if that's the bar, the way that we've played in the opening 5 matches, we're going to win a lot of games and we're going to pick up a lot of points, because this team is such a good team. They're going to get better as the season goes on. And, you know, look, as well, I know it's a small minority. We still are missing players. You know, take the game Saturday at Huddersfield, right? We went there, we played that. No Louis Thompson, right? No Louis. Imagine Louis Thompson playing on Saturday, right? No Louis Thompson. At the minute, there's no Jake Young, there's no Matthias Roberts, there's no Saxon Early. We're missing, I know people say Tyrese, but, you know, we are missing players. We are missing a couple of really important players. And there's that to factor in as well. You know, we haven't got a fully available squad at the minute, and we're playing to this level. I know that that's credit to Revs on the squad depth that we created this season. I know that was a really pivotal factor. But it shows you that the level of this squad. And I honestly thought it was magnificent. Actually, really quickly, just before we move on, I had written down on my notes, Phoenix Patterson, thought he was brilliant when he came on at Huddersfield, by the way. He actually, in that 30-minute period, I mean, what minute did Phoenix come on? He came on, let me get the lineup up. He came on, the 58th. Yeah, he did come on early, I remember. So Phoenix actually come on for Jordan Roberts when it was 0-0. Well, maybe Jordan took a knock, or maybe Revs just thought that Phoenix would offer more in that 30-minute period. He came on and he was brilliant in that 30-minute period. Every attack, or the majority of attacks we had, we were switching the ball to Phoenix. He was getting on the ball and he was running at people. And there was a couple of moments in the game on Saturday where he got inside the box, turned his man, and you thought, if he delivers this to someone, we're going to score here. And he delivered it, and there was just no one on the end of it. But there was many a times he got into brilliant areas, nearly scored a free kick as well on the edge of the box. He was brilliant. I think Phoenix at the minute, I think down the line, he will eventually become a starting player, but he's just not there yet. I think defensively with Phoenix, he needs to just get better at, I think. You saw with Chem Campbell in the first half, how well did Chem Campbell do tracking back and covering Dan Butler? There were many a times where Chem, who I thought played really well actually, got behind Dan Butler and supported Butts in defence. You know, he made a challenge, or he blocked a ball, or he won a header, or he was able to clear the ball away. Defensively, I think Chem Campbell just offers you more of that security. But I think going forward, I think Phoenix offers you more. His creativity in and around the box. He kind of had Huddersfield's players like on a bit of a standstill in that 20-minute period at the end. And I thought he was wonderful when he come on. A really good performance. And it would have just been lovely for a ball to get slung into the box and you've got the gas already there, nodding it home. But to conclude, guys, and I just want to leave it as this, it is our first defeat, yes. But we showed that we are a top half team in that game Saturday. You do not go to Huddersfield and dominate a block of the game like we dominated. No, okay, we didn't score. Okay, we didn't get a result. But the real top teams have the ability to play like that at a place like that. It was a narrow defeat. The statistics support that when you have a look at the shots, shot statistics, the percentages in each other's halves. It was a narrow defeat against the team that are going to probably get promoted when you look at the squad they've got and the money that they've got in their squad. We proved that. We were magnificent. And do you know what? Out of the 5 matches we've had, that last 30 minutes was probably the best 30 minutes we've had in terms of the level that we played at. I think that last 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, is probably the highest level we've played so far, when you consider who we were playing against. So I'm immensely proud of them. I came home with a big smile. A lot of people will feel like, what? You've just lost, Farley. What you want about? I came home with a big smile because it confirms all of the things that we thought about this team coming into this massive season. And it was confirmed by that performance in the last 30 minutes on Saturday. I loved it. It was great watching the team playing the top of the table clash in front of thousands of people. And they did us really proud. And by the way, I just want to throw in there as well, their kit looked magnificent. I know Ands would be shaking his head right now. That kit at the nut. And with the white socks, actually, I thought it looked really nice. But a great day. I stayed over at a mate's house the night before and I went to the match, and he's a Leeds fan, so we went down and watched Leeds lose 5-0, unfortunately. At Arsenal, I went off to the game, and then I travelled home. Let's have a look at the league table then, guys, shall we? Because it has been 5 matches now for pretty much all of us in this division. I think there's only 2 teams, Burton and Rotherham, who have played 4 because they had a game postponed. Look at us. Third place, 12 points, 5 matches, 4 wins out of 5. No draws, 1 defeat, 8 goals scored, 4 goals conceded with a goal difference of +4, 12 points. Look at that. Win, loss. Let's go through the league table. 6th place and above, Barnsley in 6th, Stockport 5th, Bradford 4th. Our boys, they're in 3rd place, Huddersfield 2nd, and Cardiff City are now the table toppers. How nice has it been, by the way, to say that we've been top in this league? It's just magnificent. Bottom of the division at the minute, bottom 4, Wycombe, Port Vale, Reading and Peterborough. None of those teams have a single win. 3 of them are on 2 points. 1 of them is on 1 point. All the way from 20th to 7th, it's, again, pretty similar, isn't it? Northampton, Plymouth and Blackpool have kind of lingered themselves to the bottom 4, but it all looks pretty similar. The scores from Saturday, I'm going to quickly go through. I'm going to have a chat. Obviously, our boys lost in the big top of the table clash, 1-0 at Huddersfield. Cardiff beat Luton 1-0. Rotherham and Wigan ended 2-2. Wimbledon beat Barnsley 2-0. Bolton drew with Lincoln 1-1. Mansfield beat Orient 4-1. Northampton beat Exeter 2-0. Peterborough drew with Bradford 1-1. Plymouth got their first win against Blackpool 1-0. Doncaster beat Port Vale 1-0. Stockport beat Burton 2-1. And Wycombe drew with Reading 2-2. Some of the results here are very surprising. AFC Wimbledon beating Barnsley 2-0. Barnsley seem to be a bit of a hot and cold team at the minute, don't they? They've got some good results, but then they're susceptible to the odd defeat, aren't they? Against Wimbledon. And to be fair to Wimbledon, I mean, I had Wimbledon in the bottom 4 this season, but they've started really well. They've got a couple of wins back to back. Matty Stevens, who we all know very well, scored 3 goals for them. So, excuse me, very good result there for Wimbledon. Leyton Orient losing 4-1 against Mansfield. Great win by Mansfield. I think Leyton Orient are in a bit of trouble this season. Not trouble as in going down, but I think they'll be bottom half, 16th, 15th. I don't think they'll be up there really this season. Northampton getting their first win 2-0. Plymouth getting their first win against Blackpool. Blackpool losing again on Saturday. I think Blackpool have only got 1 win. Oddly, that's Huddersfield, isn't it, at home? It's crazy to think we won at Blackpool, isn't it, on the opener 3-2. What a day that was. But yeah, Blackpool were looking really, really bad at the minute. Burton were 1-0 up against Stockport. Stockport turned it round. Bolton, Lincoln. Lincoln were winning this game. And they scored an own goal right at the end of the game. I think it was like the 97th minute. Although I don't know if you guys have seen the highlights to this match, actually. That first goal, I don't know what the referee was doing. Is it Ethan Orion that gets like barged and the ref just goes play on? I don't know how that wasn't given a free kick. That was an absolute stinker of a decision, that. Yeah, but kind of ball goes up in the air, and I think Ethan Ryan, who oddly used to play for Lincoln, he goes to head it, and the Lincoln guy just like barges him in the back, all the Bolton players stop and are like, free kick, and he plays on, they go and score from it. That was like the very first minute of the match. Yeah, that shouldn't have stood that goal. That was a shocking decision by the ref. Oh my God. I was showing, that was in our WhatsApp chat the other day, actually, because there's a few of us podcasters that have a WhatsApp chat, and everyone put the video in from that game going, how on earth has that not been given a free kick? And then Lincoln go and score for it. But again, the referees this season again have been pretty pony, haven't they? But I think the league, the way it's looking at the minute, again, it's unbelievable to see us third place in it with 12 points. Cardiff have gone straight to the top of it. So I think the two undefeated teams now are Bradford and Cardiff. Obviously, Huddersfield are there straight away. I think Cardiff and Huddersfield will stay in the top four the whole season. Luton haven't started well. They're down in 11th. We're 3 points clear of Luton. A lot of people are expecting Luton to be up competing for the title, but not the greatest of starts. They've got 2 losses on the board. And they've only scored 3 goals so far. No, only Huddersfield have. Excuse me. They haven't scored 3. They've only scored 5, sorry. They've conceded 3, I think. Yeah, not a great start from them. I think, do you know what it is with the table, guys? And this is what I'm going to say about our position. If you start really well, and again, I'm going to link this to us, and you get a really good chunk of points kind of platform beneath the team, you set up your whole season, right? So I'm going to use us as an example. We have created a top half team, right? That's been the goal. We've created a top half team, right? Now, we've got 12 points. If we beat Wickham on Saturday, which you'd like to think we would, we're unbeaten at home, Wickham are 4th bottom, and the level that we're playing at the minute compared, you would expect us to get a win, or at least a point. If we win that, we've got 15 points on the opening 6. But by the way, would make me so proud, right? Now, in order for the team to get into the top half, you would probably need another 50 points. 65 points probably definitely gets you a top half finish, right? And again, because we've created a top half team, that's the goal. So you're asking, let me do the math on this. So just putting it in the calculator. So after Saturday, there's 40 matches left. So that's 120 points, right? We would need 50 to get in the top half. That's under half. So we would only have to pick up under half the amount of points to be a top half team. Now, that is similar to a form of a side, 15th, 16th for picking up under half. This is the other point I'm going to make. Now, 120 points, if we beat Wickham, for half the amount of points, that would put us on 75. Now, with 75 points, we would be knocking on the door for playoffs, there or thereabouts, 75 points, right? So it shows you actually how important it is for having a good start. It sets up your whole season. If you can go first month, 6 games and get over 10 points, 12 to 15 points, you set up your whole season. And I was going to talk about this with us because I said this to Anne on the pod last week. Look, we've had 5 matches, right? 4 wins, they've been brilliant. We've dominated teams. We scored in the last minute against Port Vale and showed that we can come from behind and win matches. And then we showed on Saturday against Huddersfield that we can play against your top teams and compete, right? So my point is, and excuse me if anyone can hear that, by the way, the gardener next door is doing the mowing the lawn. It shows you the level that we're playing at because of those performances, right? Now, I think our team is going to get better as the season goes on. Now, if they're going to get better from 15 points in 6, they're going to be up there. So I remember making this point to Anne last week saying, is there actually an opportunity or a situation where we can actually be in the top 8? and we could actually be a lot higher than we think we might be. I think everybody is expecting us to fall. And do you know what? It's been annoying me a little bit, right? How I think people are just, it's a bit like, oh, enjoy your time, Stevenage. Enjoy it while you can, because you won't be there. And that's been really annoying me recently, because, who are people to say that about us? That nobody's done their homework on our team. We had to sit there before the season started and listen to 90% of people put us down the bottom. Some had us to get relegated. Some had us to finish 18th. No one really did their homework on us. No one saw that we created a top half team and put this together for this massive season. Everyone just assumed that we'd be down there again, right? And it really gets at me when people just naturally think that we're not going to be up in that top 8 part of the table. Again, you don't go to Huddersfield and play the way that we did in that last 30-minute period and not have a chance of being up there. You don't put the team together that we've got, have the depth that we've got, not to at least have a good chance of being up there. I think people just naturally expect us to fall because we're Stevenage and we're a smaller club. And it is frustrating. It is frustrating. I was listening to a Luton fan, a TikToker, say, Stevenage won't be anywhere near the top 10 at the end of the season. Based on what exactly? What are these so-called experts reading that we're not reading, or seeing that we're not seeing, when you have a look at our squad and the depth we've got and then the early results? Because a lot of people, after we beat Port Vale, were going, Stevenage are, 4 wins from 4 on top of the league. Okay, for us, it's surreal. But if you would have asked me before the start of the season, did I expect us to have a really good start? Yes, I did. I did expect that. I did expect us to probably win the matches that we'd won. Do you know what I mean? I think the only one we were unsure of was actually the opening day game at Blackpool, because Blackpool were tipped to be a really good side, and that's a tough one to start. But did I expect us to beat Rotherham? Yes. Did I expect us to beat Northampton? Yes. Did I expect us to beat Port Vale? Yes. And to be honest with you, did I actually expect us to potentially beat Blackpool? Yes. Because we know the level of our squad. We know what we've created. Again, we've created a top half team. We know that, right? So it has been a little bit annoying, a little bit frustrating listening to people, so-called experts, put us down there and not expect us to be there. But I think it's part and parcel when you're a smaller club in this division, aren't you, that people are just going to naturally expect you to be down there. Hopefully next season, it's a little bit different. Let's look ahead then. So this Saturday is our 6th League One match of the season. 6 already, flying. We host Wycombe Wanderers on Saturday. Now, biggest match of the season for me so far. We've just had our first defeat, although, again, for me, it didn't really feel like a loss because we played so well. But on paper, it was our first defeat, and we did lose the match. Rev said it in his interview, good sides respond. And I really want us to respond on Saturday. I really want to see us keep playing at this top level that we've been playing for the start of the season. And I really want to see us win this match. Look, don't get a point minimum, but I really, really want to see us win this game. Wycombe are 4th bottom. They haven't had a good start. They haven't won a game at all yet. We're unbeaten at home. We know that the home form's so important for providing that platform for being in the top half, right? And we can kind of see that we're going to be really good away from home this season, again, with the 2 results. We've had the 2 wins and the performance at Huddersfield. So I really want us to win this game. I think in terms of the 11, I think we keep it pretty much similar. I think it should probably be the same starting 11 that it was against Huddersfield. And then I think maybe Rev should look at going into that 3-5-2 later into the game if need be. But I would pretty much keep it all similar. I think the back 4's been brilliant. I think, again, the way they defended at Huddersfield, they showed how great that back line is. If Philip Marshall can kick the ball quicker than 8 seconds, that'd be great. Thank you, Phil, if he is watching. I think Jordan Houghton's been brilliant. Harvey White's been brilliant. I thought Harvey was great at Huddersfield, by the way. Battled, won the ball, gave the ball to feet, played some really good football. And that kind of forward 4 is a real focal point, isn't it? When you've got Dan Kemp, you've got Jordan Roberts, you've got Chem Campbell, Felix and Jamie Reid. I think he should play exactly the same starting 11. And I really want to see us dominate this game. From the very first minute of the game, I want us to dominate it, go ahead in the game. Win this game, and I tell you what, I think we're onto something special anyway. But win this game, 15 points from 6. I mean, it's giving me goosebumps thinking about it, guys. But it would be an unbelievable start for the team. Now, we have got a Wycombe Wanderers preview coming this week. So we will go into more depth of the game Saturday. That episode will be dropping Thursday morning for you all. I'm going to give a score prediction on Thursday. I think 3-0. You know, I think we'll really, really perform. I think that's why I actually think losing against Huddersfield was quite good. I think losing now and again is really good. It just keeps your feet on the ground. It makes the team work harder. Our players come across as players when they lose, especially this team with the levels they've got, they always respond next game. They work really hard. It makes you work harder. So you could actually say, the loss against Huddersfield was a perfect way to lose, wasn't it? Narrow defeat, and it will make the players work really hard this week to get a result against Wycombe. So, yeah, I think 3-0, 2-3-0. I'm going to go 3. I think we'll really dominate the game, and I really, really want to see us back with a real positive result as we end the first month of this season. Because after Saturday, I mean, what have we got? We've got the Virtue, and we've got the EFL Trophy away at Wimbledon, and Barnsley's been called off, isn't it? So the next league game will be Mansfield away after this one. So a good couple of weeks to when we play in the league. So it would be nice to have a win going into the kind of real months of the season in September and October and November. So, yeah, really big game, biggest one of the season. Same 11 for me. Let's play to the same level. And I think we'll win Saturday. I really do. It's about 5 wins from 6 would be unbelievable. Going to finish the pod, guys, having a look at the fixtures for Saturday in our division. As we know, we have got Wycombe at home in the 6th League One match of this massive season. Barnsley play Huddersfield. Oh, no, sorry, I've started too low down the list. Cardiff have got Plymouth. Oof, that's a game. In the early kickoff, Doncaster have got Rotherham. Barnsley have got Huddersfield. Blackpool have got Bolton. Bradford play Wimbledon. Burton play Luton. Some big games this weekend. Exeter play Peterborough. Leyton Orient play Northampton. Lincoln play Mansfield. Reading play Port Vale. And Wigan play Stockport. So those are the fixtures this weekend for match day number 6 in League One. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 8. Bravo, we have called it on the Stevenage Football Club podcast, because this team, how could you not say bravo? That unbelievable 2-1 win at Port Vale. Jamie Reid in the last minute, and then a performance to be proud of at Huddersfield. Honestly, I know that I said it earlier. I was so proud of them on Saturday. I absolutely loved it. I had a brilliant day, and just to see them play at that level was great. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, massive apologies that it's just been me on the podcast today. Andy's in Madrid. The others are busy. So we will get Anne back next week. He's back from his holidays. And I do believe Andy's coming to Mansfield as well. And Wimbledon in the EFL Trophy. So that'll be good to get Anne back at games. Guys, if you've listened on Spotify to this episode on the Stevenage Football Club podcast, thank you so much. If you've watched on YouTube, hello to everybody. I hope you can see my League One polo, my green New York Jets hat. It is hot today, isn't it? It's like 30 degrees and I'm sweating, absolutely sweating buckets in our chill room. So no, it has been a hot one. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back Thursday for the match preview episode against Wycombe Wanderers. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the content. We've got some special things coming out on the podcast. So thank you so much for all of your support, guys. And again, guys, 3rd in the league. So happy. Guys, take care. See you Thursday. And as always, guys, you've been listening to the Stevenage Football Club podcast.